Hello, slots enthusiasts. How are you? My name is John Friedel. Welcome to Professor Slots, a channel devoted to mastering casino slots so you can win your way to success. Today, we're going to be diving into several slots related topics, including additional analysis of return statistics for Florida's 8 commercial casinos, then also a bit about consultations, and as well as probably the main topic for today is keeping a gambling log for all sorts of good reasons. It's great to see you all here again for another Professor Slots podcast episode and live stream. If you're new to the live stream, you not realize that this is a taping of a major portion of my podcast. So when I get into showing some graphs in a little bit and some other stuff that I'll share with you, if I seem a little extra wordy, it's because I'm trying to describe a visual to my listeners on the podcast. So that's what's happening there. If you ever want to find one of my live streams again, they're available in my podcast. I don't leave them up. They're not unlisted. They're unlisted is what it is, not public. So if you have the link and you go to the Facebook group where you might find this link, it'll still be there for you, but it's not. I kept up to like a year of weekly live streams available on my channel, and nobody liked that. They're like, why are you taking an hour to explain something you can explain in 4 minutes? And I'm like, well, because this is a community event. And so now I just and things that can happen in a community event is such as Chuck giving a donation of $20.16. Thank you so much, Chuck. It's a super chat. He says Magpie 11 was right. Well, please remember a week ago was the day before the Super Bowl, and Chuck is a Kansas City Chiefs, a Chiefs fan. And yeah, we've been commiserating in the pregame show, the pre-show chat. So thank you so much for that donation, Chuck. I very much appreciate it. It helps support what I'm trying to do here. And as I continue to grow, early this morning, I exceeded 9,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel. Pretty small, but growing fast, and looking forward to being able to do more things. It's kind of a race, as some of you may know. But today we're going to be diving into several slots-related topics, including additional analysis of return statistics for Florida's 8 commercial casinos, consultations, and keeping a gambling log. Make sure I get all this right and share that. Excellent. And I'll get to the live. So it's great to see you all here again. Some are new, wonderful, for another Professor Slots podcast episode and live stream. If you're with us live, be sure to say hello. I see people are saying hello now in the live chat. Ask your slots related questions, and I'll get to those in a moment. And share if you keep any gambling records. I'll check in with the live chat a little later in the show. And just officially wanted to say special thanks to Paula for again being our moderator today in the live chat. Thanks, Paula. Okay. Right. So, thanks to all the early arrivals, those who showed up before the start of the show. Just watching everything stream off to the side here. Also, thanks to the many new slots enthusiasts who are continuing to show up at my weekly live stream. And you are very welcome to be here. On my live stream of 3 weeks ago, I presented my analysis of the return to player for Florida's 8 commercial casinos with slot machines in Miami-Dade and Broward counties in South Florida. Those are the only casinos in Florida that have return statistics publicly available. The tribal casinos do not offer that. So in my state-by-state articles, and I've went for every state, been doing it for several years now, so I've updated them about every 13 months. I do one per week, so it takes about 13 months to get through all of them. I do the territories as well in the District of Columbia. So it's 56 articles, which is about a year and 4 weeks. So in them, I will there's a section called payout returns. Maybe you don't know. Second section called payout returns. It's just before the summary. And in it, I will say where to go on either the compact or the state gaming commission, where to go to find any return statistics that might be available for your state, if they offer any. I think it's about 18 of the states that have gambling, have slots that offer returns, some form of monthly return statistics. I think there's a few more that do annual, which I don't find particularly helpful, and 6, might be 5 now, 6 that provide return statistics by slot machine denomination. Illinois just stopped doing it. They did it last year. I just did Illinois as my last article that I reviewed. They stopped offering it. Actually, I think the podcast today we'll be talking out after the live stream for the people listening on the podcast. I believe we're covering Illinois today, later in the show for them. So I don't want to give too much away, but that is one thing that has happened. They used to do annual returns by slot machine denomination, and they dropped that. I don't know if it's just a 1-year thing or if it's going to come back the next year. They haven't said. In any case, state by state, I go through any return statistics offered. But I also meant, and what I'll put into my article, besides pointing out where to find these things, is I'll do the most recent month. I'll post by casino if possible, by region if the state allows that, by denomination if possible, for the states that have that, the most recent month at the time I wrote that slots review for your state. But I've started recently doing weekly analysis of the 18 or so states with monthly return statistics. I'm working on Michigan's Detroit casinos. The tribal casinos don't offer that, but the Detroit casinos do, if for Michigan. And I'm working on that article. That'll come out soon. And maybe we'll talk about it here. Maybe we won't. But last time, and this was 3 live streams ago, but since then I have finished the article on Florida's casino in South Florida, those in commercial casinos in Miami and Fort Lauderdale. After that live stream, I got an audience suggestion, which inspired me to check another return statistic, something other than the player win percent. Mel, audience member Mel, I haven't seen him on the live stream before. Mel had gone looking at the return statistics available for his casino in Pennsylvania and had sent me an email about how shocked he was, how few promotional dollars his casino was now giving out. Mel was right. It was shockingly low. I decided to myself check the promotional dollars for Florida's 8 commercial casinos. I'd already done the analysis of the win percent. And that's an article now, not just a live stream from a few weeks ago, which is harder to find. A short, I think it's 7.5 minutes, 8.5 minutes video now available. And I'm glad I did, because I added to that these promotional dollars. It's pretty crazy. It's shocking. In Florida, slot machine promotional dollars are included in return statistics provided by commercial casinos in the State Gaming Commission. Promotional dollars come from many sources, including card giveaways. I'm being distracted. I will take a break in a moment. I'll find out what's going on in the chat. Promotional dollars come from many sources, including card giveaways, complimentary gifts, slot tournaments, and more. Now, what does more mean? That's hard to say, but it might include hidden promotions set up, such as setting up a slot machine in an open area to be a winner. Why do I think that? Well, just let's keep this at a high level. $2 million per month. $2 million per month in promotional, that's more than just a car. If you have a monthly giveaway on a car, if you had a weekly giveaway on a car, it wouldn't even come close to the $2 million in promotional dollars that are being given away. So there are definitely, wish I could find out without breaking any laws or binding agreements where these promotional dollars exactly are spent, but they are legally required to post them. And that's what we're using here. So I found, and so then on this hidden promotion, I found and played a slot machine myself, which had such a hidden promotion. It was an extraordinary experience, which made me reevaluate everything I thought I knew about slots to your benefit. If you're feeling like the casino slots are tight, and many people are telling me this, despite evidence to the contrary, because if you go look at the state returns, it's up there around 91, 94%, then maybe it's the lack of gifts. I won't go over what I showed you before. And we might briefly look at it, where returns did drop for a couple of months in 2020, and then kind of dipped again a little bit after that, but then they all returned to basically what they were earlier in the year of 2020. But that was already discussed, and it's available out there. I'll have a link in the show notes or in the description below on where to find that article for that stuff we've already discussed. Okay, so I've calculated and graphed the appropriate return statistics for promotional dollars by casino and month. And I did more than just 2020. I did 2020 for the player win percent, but I did 2019 because I wanted to see the comparison between, say, August 2019 and August 2020. So let me share my screen, and I will show you. This is my main webpage at professorslots.com. One of the more recent articles here is Florida return statistics. So I will click on that, and we will go to Florida slots return to player. And so this first section is all about the stuff that I've already discussed in a past live stream, and there's a video link in the description about all of this. And we did player win percent, and you can sort of see here. Let's see if I can zoom that in for you a little bit. It's a little blurry. Come on. So each one of these lines is a casino, and then they're identified on the side by color, and you can see that they pretty much stayed stable. There's some small changes here, and then there's the gap where all casinos closed for 2 months. Then I make some observations, and I also looked at the player win percent total for all casinos, and you can see that there was a dip for 2 months after everything closed, but then it's been pretty stable, maybe a little higher than it was for the first 2 months of 2020. So I just wanted to, you may have already known all that. But when I look at promotional dollars, these are the promotional dollars that were spent from beginning of 2019 to the end of 2020. You can see where they gave no promotional dollars out for 2 months when they were closed. Now, it was not 2 months. It was 2 months that they were fully closed, and a bit of the month before that and a bit of the month after that. So May and June, they were closed, but a little bit of April and a little bit of July, they were also closed, wherever you may be. And they didn't all close. They all closed within a few days, but they reopened, and it was maybe over a week or two. And that's what we saw when we were doing the live streams back then and going through all of this. So yes, a free play is included in all of this, but it's also the free play that was used. And I understand people get like $100, but you know, the promotional dollars was 2.5 million for Calder per month. You know, maybe they gave out that much. Maybe that is promotional dollars. It does add up quick, but you know, people get $20. A lot of people get $20. A lot fewer people get $100. So yeah, this has been pretty stable, and just like the win percent, they pretty much picked a number. Management of these casinos picked a number and pretty much stayed consistent. I like what Calder did. That's, you know, you ever wonder which casino to go to, and you're making a commitment and you want promotions, I would assume, you know, this could be free slot play, but it could also be something else, free stuff. So It's got it's got almost double of the next highest. So that's something you might want to know about if you're in Southern Florida and which casino to pick. Anyway, that was true before they closed. After they closed, they do seem to be one of the highest. In December, they were this one right here, if you can see that. So they're still highest, but they're not twice as high. And it's worth checking to see later what happened. But you can see after they all came back, it's half the casinos. What happened was the biggest number here is 5%. Well, how do I put this? Looking at the total number can be hard to compare casinos when each one has such a wildly different amount, right? 5 times as much at Calder as there is at, what is it, Isle. And so what I did was I took the percentage. I compared how much did they give out in promotional dollars in a month in 2020. Let's see, this is just beginning of 2020 to the end of 2020, compared to 2019, which we'll call a normal year. If they gave out 100%, that means they equaled what they did in 2019. And you can see that in the first 2 months, they're actually all a little better, giving out a few more promotional dollars than they had because the 100% line is right here. But then that dropped, of course, to zero. But then afterwards, 4 of these casinos dropped to 5%. The highest number here in these 2 months in July and August is 5% of what they did 1 year before. So yes, if you add all that up, it's about $10 million that they didn't spend compared to the previous year. And so maybe that's what you're feeling. I mean, the numbers are up here above 100%. Only 2 casinos, what is it, Big Easy and Gulfstream Park, are above 100%. We're above what they did last year. The rest are right at it. Dania Park and all the others are, and then the others are all less, some down to 50%, half. Which one is that? Calder is half of what it did in the previous year. But then they were so extraordinarily high before that, right? They were so far up here that when they dropped to half, they're down with everybody else. So I wanted to point this out to everybody. Again, no promotional dollars spent during the 2 months they were closed. Calder spent more promotional dollars prior than any other casino and is normal after. So let's see what else. I think that covers everything. Hialeah Park and Magic City appear to have remained too close to early 2020 numbers, early 2019 numbers, but changes have occurred with the other casinos. Right. So I think I've shared what I wanted to share here. See if there's any other points I want to make. Yeah, they saved $10 million over those 2 months, though, just those 4 casinos. So in the last 4 months of 2026, casinos show promotional dollars like being less than 100%. During the last 4 months of 2022, casinos dramatically increased their promotional dollars by nearly half or more. So if you're wondering if casinos, Florida, Southern Florida casinos, commercial casinos in Miami-Dade and Broward counties, these are sites with slot machines, if they are cheating you, well, they did drop everything earlier in the year, July and August, for promotional dollars and player win percent. But promotional dollars are still down. And that might be what you're feeling when you go in and it seems like you're not, things are tight. So it's something to consider, whether it's the free stuff that seems less or, is it tight because when you spend your own money, they haven't made up all their losses. The Florida's commercial casinos lost 178.2 million dollars in slots income compared to the same 4 months in 2019. However, they reduced their slots promotional dollars by 52.4 million total. With that savings, those 8 casinos only lost, instead of 178.2 million, they only lost 125.8 million March through June, which includes the 2 months they were fully closed. So reducing the player win percentage in July and August 2020 earned them 4.8 million, which updated their losses to 121 million for all 8 casinos. Also, 4 casinos reduced their promotional dollars in July and August 2020 by another 10 million. The average loss of each of 4 casinos was $15.1 million. Because some 4 casinos gave 5% or less, their average loss was 12.6 million. So 4 casinos lost 15 million, and 4 casinos of the 8 lost almost 13 million. So that's kind of the numbers. This is, yes, they lost money due to the pandemic, but they've mitigated some of their losses by winning back some profit, but also by not giving out as much promotional dollars. Okay, I hope that was interesting to you. I try to be a little more succinct in the future, but let's check in with a live chat to say hello. Wow, lots of color here. It is too bad that Magpie 11, I don't see Magpie 11 here to be able to hear Chuck say that Magpie 11 was right. Hello, Lena from McKinney, Texas. Jill is here. And we are in our 13th month together. I'm sorry, did I miss our anniversary? Yeah, I remember over a year ago. Yeah. So let's see, I went live around Thanksgiving a year and 3-4 months ago. Oh, we got a winner. Where are you at? Thank you, Jason, for the $10 donation. We'll talk about how to do that in a moment. It's very much appreciated. Thank you for your support. Let's see here. We've got, I want to run through some of these. As I mentioned last time, we have a lot more comments these days, which is great, but I can't get to everybody's. But I'm going to, Mark Smith is here. Hello, Mark. Since looks like he has a question, since gifts and I'll share that. All right. So Mark has questions. Since gifts and free play are based on previous play, should a casino be able to block you from redeeming offers for picking up cash back and gifts with no play? You asked, the key word there is should. It's a private business. I mean, well, public business, really. They can do what they want. Is it, in my opinion, should they? No. If you are coming to this casino and being a regular, everything I've seen is that casinos will protect a regular, right? That's their, we'll call it bread and butter. If you know of it, you can bring it up with the casino. If you say, I go to the casino with the same person every time and we do the same things and they got it and I didn't, what's up? There's lots of formulas that go into that. That doesn't sound like it's something up and up, but you have to sort of consider what's going on over time at those casinos, your casino, and see if it would be, they have a reputation and reputations matter. So it's a cumulative thing. Sometimes casinos make a mistake, but sometimes it's a business plan, and that's what you want to be aware of the difference. Right. So Pat says, could it be in the free play awarded? Some people receive a lot more than others. I know. I thought that too, but my goodness, 2.5 million, you know, that's a lot. But it could happen in a densely populated area like Miami, I suppose. But I would think that it would have to be the money that was redeemed for that to, they actually have to be given away. It's not on a piece of paper. It was actually used in a slot machine. And I mean, I suppose I could do like a quick engineering estimate. How many people came into the casino if they all had $20? How much is that? But I won't do that right now. Um, okay. Let's see. Questions amongst everybody. That's great. Um, Dwayne Kerbal, first time watching live. I enjoy your videos. Thank you. I might be a little better on the live stream live. I talked about that at the beginning of the video. Have had some, I guess live is not as common as I thought it was when I started doing these over a year ago. People are like, "Why are you talking for an hour? And you seem like you're rambling." And I'm like, "Well, it's a community event. it's I have a topic, and we go over stuff, but it's not the 8-minute video, 4-minute video, 2-minute video where I remove breathing, so that it goes faster." In any case, thank you. Let's see. Pat asks, watching slots channels, it seems like Vegas slots pay better than tribal. Some slots, same denomination, but better payouts in Vegas. No, no. I mean, average statewide Nevada return statistics is 92.7. I could just say 93, but that 0.3% matters. What Las Vegas does is it reduces their return percentage on the weekends, where weekends start at 10 a.m. Friday and go until 10 a.m. on Monday, maybe noon on Monday. And they lower that so that they basically take money from people from California that come to visit. But the regulars who play during the week after noon on Monday, before 10 a.m. on Friday, that's their bread and butter. And so they give back better to them, but it's also fewer people. So, so you can, on the weekends in Las Vegas, it might be where tribal casinos are. Tribal casinos might be like a 1% less. 1% is huge, but you don't need to do a backflip over 1%. 2.5% is when I started thinking about doing a backflip. You can just feel how much better it is. Like, what's going on? It's so great. And also watching the slots channels, most of those will edit out losing. They'll say so. Brian Christopher says so. Who wants to watch me lose? So they'll take out an edit point. Not all of them do that. And so it's real hard to get a good sense of what their actual payout is. And of course, on the bigger, and this is not a criticism, this is just how it works, the economics of it works. If you post a video, not every day, every other day, and you have 120,000 subscribers, you can make $40,000 a month. Well, 30,000 after taxes. And something like that. This is all out there in YouTube videos where they would talk about what they make, and so they're spending what they make, and that's their economics. That's their business. Making it entertaining, I've watched some of those myself, and I've talked to others who have watched those, and they might be on a winning machine and they just go to the next one because it's not educational. I don't mean to get on my soapbox about this. They're there to provide you an opportunity to watch people play slots. It's not educational for you. Right. I want to not share that. And let's see if I could go back to here since we're kind of off that section. Let's see. Anything on Missouri return to player? It will be coming. It will be coming. It's one of the ones that I'm going to do. Casino Queen and King. How can I win big jackpots? The best time to win big jackpots is in the morning between 4 o'clock and 7 o'clock. Doesn't matter if after 7 o'clock, it doesn't usually work. After the day after big events like a holiday. Now, tomorrow is a holiday. Is it a big event at your casino? 1 year ago, I was down in Kentucky at Derby City and Red Mile, and one was, hearts and roses everywhere in the casino, and they're going to have a dinner that night for the couples to come in. And then I went to the other casino, and they had nothing. We have no plans. There's no dinner tonight. And so you go to the one the next morning after. This is my strategy 5 and 4. So if you look it up, and that's when they're basically going to adjust their accounting for the previous day, and they tend to give out big jackpots. That's when I won my $27,000 one. So it doesn't have to happen every time for that to be well worthwhile. I'm sorry, was that a rhetorical question? I'm sorry, I don't mean to just tell you. Any case, let's see. Casino Queen and King. What do you think of the Dragon and Lightning Links slots? I don't think anything of them. The slots game that you're playing is a distraction. It has nothing to do. You can have a row of the same game. Play the one on the end. Play the one on the end that has a view of the room, and that's the one to play. They're not going to have the same odds. People enjoy playing the same game. Feel free, enjoy yourself playing the game that you like to play with the fish or the bubbles or the whatever. That's not about winning. Now, these Lightning Link machines and the Dragon Link machines are often found in a high view area. They're popular. Now, they can be winners because of that, not because of the game, but because they're popular and they're placed in a central location in the casino, viewable from a distance. I think that's a pretty clear statement. Moving on. Conversations with everybody. As things happen. Simple Soul, too. Let's see. John, would Valentine's Day be called a special event? Probably, maybe. See if the casino's busy that night. I guess I answered this question a moment ago. Richard says got his third hand pay at Harris. Congratulations. And won $1,830 on with 2 spins. All right. And he's talking a little bit about maybe the future casinos that open up in that area. Fat Daddy, the trucker. I feel terrible about winning small jackpots. Only 2 continued gambling and giving it all back. So I have this series on slots bankroll money management that you might be interested in, where you have something called a preserving gains, which is if you win something, how much do you put away, and how do you put it away? How does that work? But then there's also loss limits to prevent you from going into the hole, which might be a combination that you might be looking at. So just look for the playlist on my YouTube channel, and you'll see it there. Yeah, absolutely. The hard part is leaving. Yes, that's unique to last year and this year, is that some casinos are closing for cleaning. And if you said it closed at 8 a.m. Well, that's well after 7 a.m. So go well before that. 3 o'clock, 3:30, 4 o'clock. Yeah, just work around their schedule. Right. That seems clear. How do pay lines work? It's basically how do credits work. It's each game. If you bet one credit, it's the center line, and you can bet two credits, and it can be more. The amounts can be more. Three credits, the amounts can be more. There's a um, beginning slots players primer that I'm working on now that maybe you should watch. Let's see. Starmark. Hello, Claire, Wisconsin. Nice and cold. Oh, you recovered fine from COVID. I'm so happy to hear that. Uh, Someone asked, Casino Queen and King asked, "What's my favorite slot machine?" I like Wheel of Fortune. I feel I have a fondness for it. It isn't because I go and play Wheel of Fortune machines and win on them. No, no, not at all. At my casino, they were at the back of the high limit room with their big wheel that was pointed right out onto the main floor through the door. And that casino set those up to win. And boy, did I win a lot. 90 taxable jackpots in 9 months, and then a car. And that is why I have a fond. Not all 90 were on that machine, on those machines, that row of machines. Many of them were. And that's why I have a fondness for Wheel of Fortune. Doesn't mean I'm going to play them whenever I go anywhere. I do like the spin. It's fun. Okay. Let's see. People are talking about the wins. That's wonderful. Susan, hello. Welcome from northern Wisconsin. And Nadine is here. Aloha. Guess where she's from? Lois and Dave, family friends, are joining a little bit late today. And yeah, there's some discussion about Game Finder on casino web pages now, like WinStar has that, and expecting more to come. So, okay. I will check in again with the live chat in a little bit. What I wanted to share here, let's see where we're at. So if you would care to give a donation, you can go to professorslots.com/tip. And if you do that, let's see if I share my screen again. Right, so if I go to professorslots.com/tip, that's a link to PayPal, and you can give a donation there. Also, you can go to the live stream, and how do I do that? Not easily. If you go to the live chat at the very bottom, there's a little $sign on the desktop version. And if you click that, you will have a sliding scale under super chats, or you can type in a number, and then it'll take you to your pay page. If you already have a credit card, debit card set up with YouTube, then it'll select that, or you can choose other options there. Your support is greatly appreciated. I would love to be able to continue to do this, but as many of you know, but the new people don't, I was laid off 6.5 months ago from my aerospace engineering job, and I've decided to make a run at being supported, funded, being an entrepreneur with my Professor Slots business that I had started a couple of years ago, but hadn't chosen to go on YouTube. And that was really the thing I should have done a lot sooner. So if you care to support me, please consider it. Yes, so where are we at? In a moment, I'll start talking about my third where am I at? Yes. I'm going to, in a moment, I'll start talking about gambling records. But how are you doing playing slots? Are you satisfied with how you're doing? If you were to go to, I'm sharing again. See, go back to Professor Slots, all the way up to the top. This is what it looks like on a desktop. And if you go to consultant here, 1 hour, one-on-one, there's a video description where I talk to you all about it. And then you can click the book now button, and that'll take you to where you can choose a time. And if you do that, I take 2 days off a week. I'll ask you for your first name, last name, email. Ask you to list the casinos where you most often play slots, because that matters. Basically, what's your range? It's all small values, really. If it's over 1,000, then just put over 1,000 per visit, what your bankroll is, and then just describe what's going on. Oh, Chuck. Thank you, Chuck. Very much appreciated. It says, thanks for being you. Excellent. All right. And then, and how long have you been playing? And there's the current cost. It will probably stay there for another month and a half before I nudge it up a little bit. Every time I do many of these, things get better for you, and the price will reflect that. So if you're interested in doing it at the price shown, then that is a good idea, because it'll go up later. And where am I at? Stop saying where am I at? Right. So that's basically where I ask you. The booking is where I'll ask you a few important questions about your goals and interests, and then with that information, before we meet, I'll make an action plan for you based on what you want to do. Then we'll go over it together, see if I missed anything, see if there's something you want to have added, something that you aren't interested in that I guess that you might. And then, if you have any questions, it's like a one-on-one, basically, in this environment, one-on-one conversation. And then afterwards, I send you a recording of the event. It's on Zoom, where the recording is kept, and they only keep it for 7 days. And that'll be part of what you get from me, as well as the updated action plan and my consultation notes. And this is how we work together to improve your slots. You and I work together to improve your slots gambling performance to where it needs to be. Book a session and we'll figure it out together. Link is easy to find, as I showed you, on my Professor Slots website, but it's also under consultant, but it's also available in the description of this video below. So let me see if I missed anything in the live chat before we get back to the last segment of the live stream. Let's see. Susan says I play all over Wisconsin. Wow, they pulled you Mark, they pulled you aside and embarrassed you in front of everyone at the promotions deck. Wow. Oh, that's just, so that was Ocean Casino Resort Casino in Atlantic City. The promotion desk told me I was coming and picking up money without playing, so they blocked my access to the kiosk. Wow. That's unfortunate. I mean, embarrassing you in front of others is a public relations nightmare for the casino. People watching that will see what's happening to you, and it's as though it happened to them. It's pretty bad. Okay, so Dwayne says, once a month I spend the weekend at Lake of the Torches. Awesome. Did I miss something? I did. Thank you. Narul, thank you for the $10 donation. It's a super chat, and he or she says, and I'll show you, I am in Florida. All casinos close at 3 a.m. except Island Pompano, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Lowest payout percent, which is 24/7, and they open up again at 9 a.m. So 9 a.m. right? 3 a.m. is basically not enough time. Between midnight and 3 a.m., it's got to be at least 4 hours. 4 hours, 3.5 hours, something like that. So 3 a.m. probably isn't going to work. But if you can be first in at 9 a.m., that's the first opportunity, right? And that's how this works, is the first opportunity after about 3 or 4 hours after midnight, because it takes time for them to process everything. They have to count the chips and all that, and then they know what they need to do, and then they do it. But if they are closed from 3 to 6 a.m., then they do it at 6. I couldn't tell you how long it would take to do it. I imagine there's a lot more people there at 6, open up again at 9 a.m., sorry. You said 6 and 9. But once they open back up, there could be a lot more people there at 9 a.m., and it might not be you, it might be one of those people, but it's still something to try. They do make it hard though, don't they? And that's how you get me to answer one of your questions. Um, Susan says her goal is not to lose too much. Exactly. Some people I work with, have consultations with, I point that out. I say, you are winning great. If you could just stop losing, then the balance, the difference. Some people can't win, aren't winning, and then they need to know how to win. Then later they have to figure out how to, not spend it all before they leave the casino, like the problem so many of us have. So let's move on. I've got 15 minutes to get through this. What is the payout percent in Pennsylvania, and New Jersey? The theoretical in Pennsylvania is 85% is the lower limit. The upper limit is, it can't be 100%. It's less than 100%. So it could be 99.999% for Pennsylvania. That's the theoretical. But if you want to go look at professorslots.com, ABC 27, professorslots.com/ABC27, you'll see me in the news in Pennsylvania, and evening news in Harrisburg, and we're talking about Penn National. And the reporter basically went through the return statistics. Or you go to professorslots.com/PA or NJ, and you'll find links to all those things that you're looking for. That's there for you, free. Right. So I've been getting a lot of questions lately about income tax preparation for gamblers. If you want to ask your questions, please do. If I have time in 12 minutes, I will get to them. But I want to talk to you about my third topic, which is income tax preparation for gamblers. Just like analyzing return statistics, I think explaining what the IRS expects from your gambling log is something something that you'll is something I'll come back to every year, particularly since there are changes. And so gambling record keeping is a tool. You may not yet use this tool. However, you should. Why? Because I'm showing you how to win at slots, and not to be too arrogant about it. I'm a good enough teacher that I expect you to succeed. Now, advice given to entrepreneurs is to give you what you want, but then also tell you what you need. A reasonable guess of what you want is to not pay taxes. If you live in Nevada and a few other states, your wish is granted for state taxes. My focus today will be on federal income taxes. For state taxes, you'll need to use tax preparation software or visit an income tax preparer. Both know what you can and cannot do in your state, and every state is different. Or perhaps I should say every state is special, just like every other state. You're special, just like everybody else. And don't forget about local income taxes if you happen to live within city limits or within a municipality that has them. So that's the 3 levels of income taxes, personal income taxes. So keeping a gambling log for preparation of federal income taxes will also help you with state income taxes, but in my experience, not at all for local income taxes. That's something you want to keep an eye on if you win a lot at gambling. Now, one caveat about keeping a gambling log, to make sure to make use of it, you'll need to itemize deductions. Whether you can itemize deductions depends on your level of income and other circumstances, and not everyone can yet. See, that's the issue at hand. You may not be able to itemize deductions, but all that can change if you win even a medium-sized taxable jackpot. That's why you want to keep a gambling log before you need it. The basic idea is this. The basic idea is this. You can deduct up to your winnings. Most people don't know this because they don't win. But we're changing all that. So this isn't now this if you are a professional gambler, if you have the status of professional gambler with the IRS because half the year you go to poker tournaments, that's essentially a business. And a business can do some other things. We're talking about personal. So having a professional gambler status with the IRS is not what we're talking about here. Those can deduct more than their winnings. But many slots players don't know that they can deduct up to their winnings. It's only when they start winning do they even learn about this, perhaps as late as preparing their taxes the following year. Oh, here we go. Yeah, if you want to interrupt me and get your question asked because we've got a lot going on in the show, you can always give me a donation and I will stop what I'm doing and answer it. So going to Kickaboo in Eagle Pass tomorrow, Craig says, thank you for your $10 donation. We'll use your 5-spin strategy. Won 2 jackpots, $2,000 in 1875 this year. Wonderful. Consider a $20 tip. Well, why do I want to thank you for the $10? Thank you. Sincerely. Thank you for the $10 tip. Right. So I was somewhere. Thank you. So for minimum tax purposes, at least 5 entries are required. These are the date, the location, the bankroll, how much you spent gambling, and the take home, how much remaining after gambling. Also, the fair market value of anything that you got as a gift. $30 buffet dinner that was comped. And so that's something to keep track of. But again, consult with a tax professional on these entries to make sure that you've done what you need to do. But there is the best way to go about this, because this changes every year, and I am not a CPA, I'm not a tax professional, I'm not certified in this regard. One of the things you can do is go to the IRS. They have all this written down. So if you go to irs.gov, under tax topics, you can put in gambling deductions or gambling income, and this is the main page. There's links to many things here, including what a WTG tax form looks like, what you would get from the casino, and what the entries are and how to use that and which schedule. So it says here, gambling losses. You can deduct gambling losses. It's bigger. You can deduct gambling losses only if you itemize your deductions. So you have to be able to do that. But if you win, you could enter you could increase your income to the point where you can itemize, and that can happen. Lightning could strike and you could win on a slot machine. And boom, there you go. And December 31st at 10 p.m. And if you don't have a record for the previous year, what if you, it's an unlikely scenario, but what if you won $250,000 in a jackpot at 10 p.m. on December 31st, and you haven't kept gambling logs, and you spent a lot of money. You have a lot of money to spend gambling. You spent a lot of money in that year, but now it's 2 hours to go and you don't have a record. Well, you could lose 25% of that to federal taxes, or you could get it back. Which do you prefer? But you need a gambling log. Okay, even when you don't think you need it. So keep a record of your winnings and losses. The amount of losses you deduct can't be more than the amount of gambling income you reported on your return. And so it says claim your gambling losses up to the amount of winnings as other itemized deductions. That's where you find this. So there's some other information here about taxable and non-taxable income. How do I claim my gambling losses? So publication 529, 525, and 519 we'll briefly take a look at. We got 5 more minutes here. So this is publication 505. Links to all these, you can find them yourself by Googling and just following your notes or searching the irs.gov website. But I put them into the description below. So here is a long publication, 505, on tax withholdings and estimated tax. If you, on the side here, sidebar it's called, there's a section on gambling. I've highlighted it here. It's quite a bit down from the top, but if you go there, then you can click on one of these, and now you're down to income taxes we withheld, blah, blah, blah. And you can read through all of this. There's a lot of possibilities. Any kind of gambling. This is one of the things that comes out in this irs.gov is if you go to a convenience store and buy lottery tickets, that counts. If you, have a buddy. I mean, just think Al Capone. He didn't get arrested for killing people or anything. I mean, eventually, but he got caught for not paying his taxes. So if you have a local poker game and you're playing for money and it's legal, you need to report your winnings. And so there's no W-2G there. There's even a nice section in here that talks about what happens if you what happens if you don't want to give your social security number out. Then there's a possibility on the federal level that they still take the 25% because the government gets its taxes. But who gets the rest of it becomes a question. So I might dig into that someday and see what happens. What happens on return statistics, it can be reported. It doesn't happen very often, once a year maybe. What happens if someone doesn't accept the win? Well, it's still a win. And the government gets its taxes, which I hadn't really considered before. Anyway, these little things you learn. Also that was 505. Then you've got 525. And if you move down, if you search using gambling, you can see gambling winnings, blah, blah, blah. Some of this is repeated. Lotteries and raffles form W-2G. There's a how do you claim, which I'm not going to go over. Not entirely sure why it's there. 529. If you go down to the section on gambling losses up to amount of gambling winnings, this is where it talks about what kind of log you need to keep. And this is something you want to check every year. And if you have a tax preparer or use the tax preparation software, they check these things. But the log now has a new entry. This particular one was updated in December 2020. So when I talked about this a year ago, this wasn't here. They would like you to also record the names of other persons present with you at the gambling establishment. So what do you think? Let's see here. I'll show that for Paula's sake. The word I was thinking of was witness, which is interesting. So look this stuff over. It is not my job to interpret the IRS. These are references for you to take a look at and make your own choices on this. I'm not an income tax professional, not a lawyer, not a medical professional. There's plenty of things I am not. Plenty of things I am, but plenty of things I am not. So this is what I wanted to show you and provide links to. And there's lots of questions that came in the last few seconds. How are we doing? Let's see. So Susan said won lots of massive jackpots in Milwaukee, lost too much in Northern Michigan. Mark, do I have an example of a gambling log, and do you use any apps or your phone to log your sessions? I considered starting an app, but there's some concerns about using an electronic device to help with your gambling while gambling. It's kind of a felony some places, and I know we're all getting more and more use out of our phones and stuff with us, but I decided that was a little risky. No bail money from me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, shouldn't laugh, but um, yes, you can keep a log, but you also want to make sure you don't lose it. So you probably want to transfer it to your desktop and just keep a log when you go to a casino, whatever works for you. It can be virtual, it can be paper. Also, if you dig through some of this, you'll find that you can log the gas money or your mileage. It's kind of your choice. Um, your meals that you spend that money on, that can go into your deductions. Look over the IRS stuff. There's details there. That's great. However you want to do it. There's too many ways to mention. Now, if you want to know, in my book, there are tables. And because one of the things I say is do a lot more than just record like 5 different things. Also record, where you won at, what kind of slot machines. Let's see here. I'm sure it's in the book. I know it's in the PDF. There we go. No. Yes. So I offer examples. And what you can do is go to professorslots.com/forms. And you'll see everything that's in the book. For my audio book, they couldn't see what was in the book. So I made a web page, professorslots.com/forms, and you will see my examples of what at the time the IRS said you should put in. This who's with you is new. But then I also said, collect this data, this data, this data, this data, because your notes on your gambling you can look at them later and you can get trends. So you probably want to do that. And I'm out of time. There's a lot that I had to skip. I'm so sorry. Yeah, Susan, I left Prairie Meadows Casino with what in 10 minutes, I won $3,000 and I spent $2,000 across the street at the convenience store buying lottery tickets, Powerball. And I went through that and I won $100, which is apparently very unusual. That's terrible odds in case everybody needs that. Thank you so much, everybody. Good to see you here, Steve. Thank you so much, everybody. Sorry I couldn't get to every question. It's great to have those questions. You can always email me, or you can comment on YouTube, or you can come to the next live stream, or you can have a consultation. There's lots of ways to get your questions answered in detail. Thanks so much. It's great that we're growing so large. I can't get to everybody. Thank you, everybody. And you take care. And those of you listening in live on the podcast, I will talk to you in a moment, or talk to you about a state, I think Illinois, in a moment. Thanks. Bye.